Okay, so I don't know why I'm making this video, and most of the videos I'm making at the moment, I don't know why I'm actually making them, cause they're see how the cat moved when I said that? The cat moved there when I said that. That means acknowledgement. I said this before. The cat is not a normal cat. There is another one inside of the cat. But the cat at the moment is not eating at all. And refusing to eat. As you can see, that big boy cat, because I always called him big boy because because he was bigger than the other cats around, but as you can see, I can actually feel his bones now because he's refusing to eat. Now, some people might say that's a particular illness because the Matrix, and I don't want to say this too much. I better leave him alone too there. I'll leave him there to sleep a bit. And it's very wet outside, the rain. Here comes the rain again. I might play that. Sorry, I'm getting my shadow on the thing. Here comes the rain again. See, all the food's been left there, but I've had to try to force feed him. But I'm not very good at fighting cats, and he just closes his mouth and won't take the food. But I'm just trying to make a point here. I know it seems ridiculous, and there's something radically wrong with me, that I'm making a video. The cat's going downhill. The Matrix is all around, even though it's quiet because it's pitch black, dark, and late of a night now, so it's okay. There won't be much noise. There was a plane going over, I just heard, but there won't be any Matrix construction or any of that stuff going on. Now, what am I trying to make the point here? I don't know what point I'm trying to make. The cat is possessed. So, and believe you me, I don't know what I'm talking about here. I don't know what I'm talking about. But I'm just trying to think back over things. Personally, myself even. And this will apply to another. Okay? Will apply to another. If you're just listening in and you don't relate to this, that's because you aren't possessed and you haven't experienced possession. I think that I may have experienced it in the past, but was not aware of it. And I don't know this for sure. But when I say that, is it possible to be temporarily possessed? But if you are not of the dark matrix, or you consciously disapprove of the dark matrix, maybe. you can reject the possession. But you see, like in the past, when I was unaware of the matrix, or unaware that there was any entities around, that there was anything other than a natural material world, and that there was no rhyme or reason to anything, that everything was just one big accident, and there was nothing before or after my existence, and that I was a tiny speck of sand on a huge beach, and that I had no input into anything that went on around me, and that I was powerless to control what went on around me, whether it be at a personal level, much less at any other level. This was how I thought life was in my own personal existence. So what I'm trying to say is that if I had experienced a form of possession, say 25 years ago, something like that, or 30 years ago, I'm trying to think of when I thought I could have experienced it. But what I'm trying to get the time, but it probably doesn't matter for this video because that's only my personal experience. But let's say it was like, say, 20 years ago, right? Like an incident may happen. Now, okay, I'm going to be personal here, but forget that it's personal, and I won't try. I don't like doing this, but it's the only way I can try to get this across to someone, okay? And it's not like I can talk personally to anyone. You know, I have no connection in the matrix, telephone connection, internet connection. I know I'm making a video, but I don't personally connect with anyone through the video. I just talk into a mobile phone, and someone or something on the other side of the world may or may not listen when I say someone or something, because it can be of the matrix or it can be of your own kind. You know, you will attract anyone and anything and everything, and it's all part of the internet. But, you know, if the internet is about control because it's the matrix, so there are reasons why, you know, I communicate that way, but I don't communicate, you see. So that's why I am allowed to communicate, because I'm not communicating, you see. I might be putting out something that someone might find useful, maybe, in the sense that they might say, oh yes, I experienced that too. And so it reaffirms, like I have watched, you know, tons of videos, tons of this, tons of that, for that same reason, because that way you then, because you know that you are out of control in a control matrix that you have no control over, you do become desperate in looking for, like, to verify to yourself that what you're experiencing is real, and to try to understand and make sense of it, which is what I have been trying to do for the last 5 years. You know, because when the matrix first comes down on you and you realise that it's such a big collaborative effort against you, when you don't even know the people or the beings or what the reasons are behind it, you know, you really do have to try to understand and make sense of it. Because the goal originally, of course, is to confuse you to where you think that you just have no control, which you don't, but to not understand what's going on and to think that, Essentially, the original idea is to think that you are losing it in your own mind, that what is happening could not be happening. Even though, of course, I had no doubt about that. I have to admit that was the one area where they couldn't delude me that way. I did feel that I was out of touch in the sense that I no longer could see my reality as something normal or that I was in a random world or reality, to where I could comfortably try to live. I realised my life was over, basically. From the day the Matrix come down on me, especially in those first 6 months, I basically thought my life is over. In the reality, I knew that I was still going to have to live it, but that any potential for me to live a life that I wanted to live, a peaceful, normal life, was gone. And that was something that I did not want to have to accept. And I wondered how long I could go on living like that, because I thought I can't spend the rest of my life living in this control matrix. In fact, the information as it came to me and the awareness of what was going on didn't make that any easier, and still doesn't, but it pushes you to keep going even though you don't want to, because you know the name of the game is to stop you living, but also to literally stop you living. So you have to consciously, talking loud and confident here because I have to, even though I don't feel it, I feel it a bit, but when you are surrounded by the Matrix, the minute you go outside down the streets and things, I can turn this video and talk. But when I haven't got the mobile on and I'm recording, the Matrix makes you feel very, very small. Not only very small, but trapped. And you have to go into your mind. But our mind, and in this human reality, it's our senses that determine what our minds think. So if you feel that everything around you is against you, working against you to limit your life and to bring you down mentally and emotionally and physically, all these things are combined. As you know, if your health goes down, if you aren't as physically active as what you normally would be, and especially if you know that it is beyond your control, that it's not like we're conditioned in the Matrix to think, oh, well, if I smoke and drink too much, I have to expect that when I get old or whatever, I'm not going to be 100%. But it's not like that. In fact, even some of those things are probably a little bit more of a fallacy than what we realise, I think now. But then again, it's still a real reality too. So there's, I don't fully comprehend that, but because I have now think differently about things, I think that, it's like the old saying, it's not what you do, it's how you do it and how you act when you're doing it and what you're doing. Because it's a spiritual reality. So, it's not about saying, oh, because you do something, that it puts you in a non-spiritual light. No, I wouldn't say that. And we know that. Even from a religious point of view, which haven't studied religions, or even denominations that have been in my reality. But what I'm saying is that it's not about what you do, it's how you think about what you do and how you behave in not in the light of the matrix, but in the light of what is beyond the matrix. It's like so it's, this is where we get confused and stressed and feel small, because it's not about your behavior, it's only about your motivation or your thinking behind the behavior. So theoretically you could be doing things that like I say, you can do what some people might class as negative things, but if your thinking behind that, if there's is not intentionally negative or towards your own kind, shall we say. I would think this now because that's where I fell down through my life. But at any rate, I forgot I was on the subject of possession. Oh, silly me. Oh, I'm going to turn the light off. Does anyone mind if I turn the light off? So that way you don't see that I have an untidy house. An untidy house means an untidy mind, that old saying says. So I don't want to be sitting here talking about things that are a bit beyond my thinking anyway, but I'm still talking about them because of the matrix now. That's why I talk about these things. That's why I pretend that I actually know more or that I'm on top of it, but at the same time it may, maybe it's all about just, like even if you're failing in the matrix, like I would consider that I've failed in all the relationships right up to this present moment, that they have not been successful, that I have not like been able to connect with anyone and show what the matrix really is trying to do, particularly the separation thing with the matrix. I, in the past, wouldn't have cared about the separation because I was playing for the matrix. So I wouldn't have, I would have took the easy way out, And I did all my life, because, it was easier, didn't want to have to push myself, and still don't. It's almost as though something else pushes me half the time. I think the matrix itself pushes you to have more go in you than what you normally would. Certainly more than what I've had, because you're afraid, but you're going to lose anyway, so you're like, it doesn't matter. You almost think, what have you got to lose? And that's strange for me because I've always been a very cautious person, lived my life in fear and never took any risks. Basically was almost like stuck in a closet. Perhaps I shouldn't say closet because that might sound... Of course, the Matrix is very much about hiding their secrets in a closet. I shouldn't laugh, it's not funny. But it is like that because the Matrix ones are not what they appear to be. But back to the possession. I might just show outside for a second to see if it's quite late now. there shouldn't be anything going on unless I go down to the park and go down the street. Then, of course, then the Matrix will have the cars and the Matrix control patrol system around, and sometimes it will have, if you go down to Parramatta Road, you'll have the light and sound show, because they have to make it look real. And when I say real, plausible, not so much real, but plausibly real. You know, but also don't forget that, I've said this before, the Matrix converges and centres around, in other words, patrols around real human beings in order to control and suppress them. So if there is louder traffic around me, it's only around me. They don't make those same traffic noises that almost, like last night when I went down to get the coffee, like the traffic, in fact it always sounds like this, particularly on the main road. It's not about the number of cars and vehicles, it's about the noise they make, and the noise sounds very unworldly, very negative. It's like if a car beeps its horn at you, but it's not about even beeping the horn, even though that is true. It is about the reality that when they go past, they make negative sounds, almost as though, you know immediately that the being behind the wheel is possessed, and is possessed by a dark entity. It's almost as though the traffic has a negative life of its own. It's disturbing. It's disruptive to your senses because the noise is unpleasant. But it is also very disruptive to your mind. But it makes you aware of the spiritual aspect, but too much so because it's all the time, because the Matrix is full on in this end time. It's like not going to give you a break. It's not going to give you a chance to rejuvenate yourself from those negative mental influences, not influences, effects, because it's not an influence, because an influence you can choose to accept or push away. It's an effect. It's instant and you can't avoid it. You have to take it in. It's like if you had negative noises all the time, unless you can block out the sound, but that means then you have no sound. There's a plane going over now, maybe, but I just, my hand is getting sore already. I really need to put the mobile on the thing, but I don't dare because I think I'll mess something up. See, I was talking about the possession. I just want to keep on that because it came to me only a couple of hours ago. And it could apply because this has been something that I have only vaguely thought about even in the last few months in relation to myself, but also another maybe, because when I say that I mean it could apply to you. Must concentrate here. About 20 years ago now, I've forgotten what year it was, to be honest. My father passed over. I should be just making a phone call rather than making this video, but if something is impossible, I have to use a means that I don't, because I'm saying that these are very personal things. But it does still apply to the matrix and what is going on. That's how you, and yet even in saying this, I don't fully comprehend it because I don't want to accept that my reality is something so much darker than what I can tolerate. The cat just moved over there, but it won't come out. See, cat's moving. See how the cat... I'm just going to show you that the cat is moving because that means acknowledgement. I have to turn the light... on to show the acknowledgement because the cat is, you know... Oh, wait on, I can't turn the light on. Sorry, I can't get the light. See, the cat moved, but he stopped now. The cat is old, so maybe his eyes are all glassy. That's because he's not 100% at all. That glassy eye means that he's lacking something, that there's a big problem, that he's very, I would say very depressed, very distressed. The glassy eyes, there's a negative, that's what I would say, that glassy eyes, as though the eyes have almost, it's hard to say, as though they've lost something, you know, as though they're empty or something. It won't come out on the video, but I've noticed it's not good. He moved, didn't he, when I said that? But I'll just stand here if I can for a second and try to concentrate on what I was trying to say. When my father died, you know, maybe 20 years ago now, could be even a bit more. He passed on. Now, personally, even then, I had the feeling, but of course I didn't believe in anything beyond this natural reality, just as he didn't, except that he was a lot more strong that way. I basically tended to not know anything. I would have been someone that said, I really don't know anything. But unless you can show me evidence of something, then I don't believe in anything. See, now I have evidence, because when you see the matrix closing around you and you see the negative, dark android types of people, it wakes you up to a different reality that you were unaware of, even just at a personal people level. And that's how it started for me. But it was nothing I did. It was because they chose to come down on me. So then I had to wonder what was going on and what was happening. And either I had the choice to say, I'm out of my mind, or this is 100% real, so why is it happening? What has happened to my reality? What has happened to the real world, or what I thought was the real world? You know, and I had no doubt that there was a stalking patrol traffic system around me. At first I thought it was just, like I've said this before, I think in videos, at first I thought it was just that some people had some sort of grudge against me, and I'm like, I don't know these people, so why would they do that? But then I thought, oh, yes, I was aware that there was psychotic personality, and I knew that there were some of those around, and I thought, oh, some psychopathic people, I have rubbed them the wrong way, accidentally, because you only have to rub a psychopathic person the wrong way. See how the cat's moving very slightly? You don't have to do them any real harm. You could just say something accidentally that they don't agree with. See how the cat's moving? You know, everything you do may not have any real malice or real strong intent, but they will take it as though you are literally trying to annihilate them, because that's their mindset, because they have to have total control. And so then they will get other people to turn against you and join in an effort to suppress you. They will, of course, not speak the truth, because not speaking the truth, or in other words, deliberately saying the opposite to things, because it's a reverse world, to other people in order to get them on board to suppress another human being, is not that hard. If you have friends and you say, oh, that person thinks this or that, even though they may not, especially if they know that people have prejudices or think a certain way about something, it's a bit like, if you have certain beliefs and then someone says, oh, that person doesn't believe that at all, they are actually very negative towards you. When, of course, someone like me may not have any particular strong views about anything. At least I didn't in the past. But they would use people's beliefs and their ideas against those that they choose to turn against or suppress because they don't like them. And you understand that. You're like, oh well, but I didn't realise that it wasn't just a few people locally that had spread rumours around in order to get more people to say, harass you in vehicles and that sort of thing, as the matrix gradually opened up. But it took me like 5 years to realise the full local matrix base idea, that it's basically see how the cat moved? Because I was about to say it's basically a control base, this whole area. It's like an army base. It's an army, human, spiritual control base. Because all the people and the entities that live in the vicinity that I am, in other words, this area and the adjoining suburbs, all have the same beliefs. They are all of the same denomination. And they are a technical life force that are essentially against a natural spiritual life force. And that is the reality, and has been the reality in the world probably since the beginning. It's just that I didn't realise that. Now, the possession thing, I better get back to that. I was going to play some videos. This is going to be a long video, even though I really am a little bit pressed for time. Of course, there's rain around outside, so I don't want to be, going down to get the few little odds and ends late of a night when there's the rain, but I don't care. I can survive till tomorrow without things if I have to. And I can always pick up some milk and bread at the coffee place, so I don't have to go into the supermarket. But either way, that's wasting time. Sorry. Now, okay, back to the possession. When my father died, I was aware even then, but I didn't think about what happens after you die, okay? And I didn't know. And even now, I don't see it clearly because I'm suppressed and limited, and not allowed to see things clearly. That's what the matrix around me is all about. It's about suppressing knowing my full mind, knowing what I should know. All around, the matrix and its God entity knows my full mind and takes most of my full mind and downloads it to its disciples, its followers, its relatives, which are on the internet and which are all around and which are everywhere. And the top elite ones of those are the demigods, but that's only because they are more known. You know, that's because they are more known, whereas others play in secret. The demigods don't play in secret. Except that their secret is that they are the demigods and they are trying to influence, control and affect real-life human beings into following and believing in them, or at least be influenced by them at the least. I might just... go. Now, where was I? When my father died, because he was of the Matrix, and because he needed to control and be around real life. Even though being around real life was a negative vibration for them. That is because if you are a dark spirit while you're here in the Earth Matrix, you will always be a dark spirit. And a dark spirit always likes to latch onto real life, positive life, and drain the positive life from them for their sustenance, because they don't want to leave the Matrix, because they like the dark, dead material reality to a large extent, and they like it to remain under their control. Don't think I put that well. So what I'm trying to say is that there is that idea that, like in the movie The Innocents, okay, we'll go back to that movie. We'll go back to The Innocents because that explains it simply. Really, have a look at that movie. But it's raining wet. It is completely dark and raining wet. And also they've turned the light off down the end of the street so I can't see where I'm walking. Huge light that was actually too bright. Now they've turned it off to where you can't see hardly in front of you. It's very annoying actually. And when it's wet too, I'll have to be very careful. Oh, it's freezing cold out here now too. I'll just see if there's anything going on. There's nothing going on. They're all cleared out because it's... Oh, I can't get the door open. Oh, can't get the door open. Just be careful here. It's pitch black dark. See, planes have gone, I think. Okay, we've got the light on that house down there. They always have to have one or two that leave their lights on all night. I don't know why. But it doesn't matter, but I have noticed that. Oh, it's cold, so no more planes, no more planes. Okay, I shouldn't do this. No doubt one will come, I'll hear it, but it won't come out. Okay, I don't know why I'm doing this. This is a waste of my video space. I'm sorry about that. It's freezing. Just thought I might have got a plane. I don't know why. Sometimes they come low and they look interesting. But they're oh, okay. I'm sorry that my videos... I just think that I'm talking as though I'm talking on a telephone or as though I'm just speaking to someone. That's the whole problem. So if you want a professional video, please don't listen, don't waste your time, because really this is really not a video for anyone except perhaps, really for one person. That's really all it is. So if... Oh, I'm going to sit down here for a second. I can't help it. Oh! So when my father died, he, like the movie The Innocents, maybe I should get that Innocents movie up and show some clips of it. But I haven't seen it for quite... I haven't seen it since I watched it about 9-10 times when I made the video on it, and watched it before that and even after, because I get obsessed, and that was a movie that I am, but I haven't seen it since then. So I haven't seen it for 6-8 months or something, because obviously I watched it to where I can, even now I know every scene and half the dialogue and stuff, obviously, but putting it up there, I still would have trouble picking the right things, but it might be an interesting thing to go back to The Innocents. Okay. It might be worthwhile for me to do that if I could get it. Okay. Sorry about this. Okay. Putty, should I go back to The Innocents? Please don't leave me. See, you know that everything has to leave you eventually, and that you have to leave everything eventually. It just depends on how old you are and what is. Now, in the movie The Innocents, I'm gonna... Please take this the right way. Please don't take what I say the wrong way. Because this happened to me with my father. I'll have to... This happened to me with my father. Like the movie The Innocents, I was going to play some music videos, strangely enough, and now I've gone on to The Innocents instead of something else here. Oh, I can't help it. I'm so sorry, because I'm just getting too many ideas coming to me at once, even for a video. Oh, wait on. I might just use this video. It just come up here just before I go into The Innocents. I might actually use it to try to make a point, because I've got to be fancy here. I could just yak on, which is easier for me, but I feel that I would like to... Also, I'm going to make a point here too. I'm going to make a point with this video too. Like, I was going to do this in a separate thing, but okay. Can you see? This is what I realised, maybe a year ago or something. Can't prove it. I don't know if it's coming out in the video. This is not a good example. And it doesn't happen with all, but many of the demigods that didn't... See, look there. See how you're seeing how they want to merge? See? Can you see that? See? Merging. I hope that's coming out. Merging. They want me and you to merge. Because the artificial reality, see the merging, it's showing you that there. But what I was trying to show in this video, I wasn't trying to show it, but it's just come up. Oh, I think I'm making a mess of it. But if I can just get that image back, which I can't. I was going to show that there's the demigods, and I don't know whether this is, I've never checked it out with real people, because obviously you would have to look into someone's eyes and really look at their eyes for 5 minutes. But possession sometimes takes a physical form to where you literally can see it with the demigods. See the merging there? See how they're showing you how they want to merge? Because that's supposed to be, that would be John Lennon and Yoko Ono. But also that's the merging of the two, and see how they're actually laughing almost at me while they're doing it. Can you see that? Did it come out? Didn't notice that till now, but look at this, See? See how one eye is slightly larger than the other. That's not a good example. I'm going to actually have to show a good example of it. Hold on, because I saw it the other day, and I'm obviously getting really hyped up here all of a sudden now, instead of, try to keep on track. Oh. Merging, see the merging? I gotta try to not put. One eye slightly larger than the other. This is a common affliction of the demigods and the most famous people. I see it a lot. I noticed it about a year or so ago, or sometime anyway, because there was a couple that really surprised me, and I'm like, how could I have not noticed that for, 40 years or something? See them? See, they've already merged. They have already merged. Demigods and all of them have already merged. They are like two in one. I'm going to have to find another video, another one that I'm not even, because I saw it the other day, but because I could show many examples. I noticed it even when I was looking at a few movies over the last year or so, with some actors, that I noticed that one eye was larger than the other. I tried to show it on that one, but that's a fuzzy image now, and that's a very famous demigod. Now let me see if I can find this other one. And I haven't finished on the possession yet, so I'm completely off track here. While I think of it, I might just show it. I'm supposed to be making this. I've turned it into a matrix video. I'm so sorry, I'm messing it all up. Messing up the whole thing here. That's because, see, I've got two things in my hand. I'm trying to... wait on. This video I'm not even familiar with, but I noticed it shows it more clearly in this video. This, what I call an affliction, but it's something that's there, so obvious, and yet we... Oh, wait on, here it is. Here it is. Okay, I've got it here. Let's have a look. Here, okay. Okay, let's have a look at this. I'm just going to show it. This is a good example of a demigod or a music artist. Doesn't matter which ones they are; they're all the same. This affliction is very common. I think it's a physical sign of possession, but I could be wrong. I'm just going to try to prove it, but plain going over. Hold on, here we go. Okay, and they're showing it too. They're showing it obviously. Look at this. Look how they're showing it very obviously. Oh, it's not going to come out. Can you see? See how they've got that line going over the eye? Even in this video, they're blatantly showing me. Look. See how one eye is. See the one that's got the thing over it is bigger than the other. Possession takes place over, I think is it the left or the right eye? I knew it a while back, but I can't think of it at the moment. See, can you see the difference? That is very common amongst the demigods to see this, to see that one eye is larger than the other. Wait on. See? Can you see it? Possession. See? And see how in this video he's openly showing you it because he's got that mark down it as if it's a show. How can that be? How can that be? How can that be that he's openly showing it on the thing there? See? Can you see it? Is it coming out? Okay. I think so. I think so. I'm sure they're showing me a lot more, but I don't get it. What else are they showing? I don't know. But I can't see it. Can't see it. Oh. Water. I don't know what that is. I've not seen this video before. Look, 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 look. Can you see the obvious? They're showing me obviously there. One eye so much bigger than the other. But at the beginning, oh, I don't know what the rest of it is. I'll need to analyse this video, and yet I haven't. So look at the affliction there. Can you see it? So he's putting it over the eye to show me. Is this really part of the video? It must be. See? See? Look. It's showing you that that's possession. Okay. I'm turning that off now. I'm going on to The Innocents if I can find that movie. Oh, that's just, I just found that one the other day accidentally, and I was familiar with the song vaguely. It's one of those songs that's a non-song, but it lingers in your head because it's just like, da, da, oh, I can't say it, but like it's very monotonous and very slow and but if you hear it last, it will lurk in your head. And actually, that's actually, if you want to take a look at it, it is, that's what it actually is. It's interesting. Are they telling me something there? I think maybe they are. I didn't notice that. Okay, so I'm going down to... Oh, I was going to go on to The Innocents, wasn't I? But I can't do that. I'll have to do that in... Okay. I've got to be careful of copyright too with The Innocents. I should have done this years ago when I first did that little talk on The Innocents movie after I'd watched it many a time. I still say that anyone should just have a look at the movie rather than listen to me. I haven't seen this now for a year or something, but they've got copies on the YouTube. One of the movies they do have double N on Innocence, isn't it? It's double N on Innocence. Okay, in The Innocence trailer it says there, but I want the whole movie. Let's see. I'm sure it should still be here because they had a couple of copies even. They're all very clear and quite good, which is surprising on the YouTube because you don't... The Innocence 1961. Okay, so it says The Innocence... 1961 The Innocents was, so that's a few years older than the letter that I was rambling. I was actually going to show some more scenes of the letter if I could, but see how I've got too many ideas coming at once, and yet I only want to talk about the possession. So there we go. We have the. Let me see, which one will I go on? Okay. I can't believe I'm doing this. I don't know what I'm doing actually. Okay, starting up, but I think I'll have to. Perhaps I don't know what. See, I haven't watched it, so now I have to find a spot where I can find to where I can put something proper, but I don't know what I'm. Oh, it's hard. What am I doing here? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. This is like about a lady that accepts the job of being a housekeeper to two young children out in this big country estate of this wealthy gentleman that can't look after these two orphan children, you could say. Their mother and father has died. So they are very, very, very lonely. They don't have parents. They don't have any guidance. And they become possessed by this man and woman that are not their parents, but they're like their guardians while they're in this country estate house, because their surviving relative, which isn't their mother or father, a relative is given custody, but he doesn't want to look after children, you know. I've got to be careful here. I don't even know what I'm filming here. Hold on. I've got to turn the sound up, but I've got to be careful of copyright. There's a lot of funny scenes in this movie too. Even the walls painted in this movie, I'm sure, have paintings and things that mean something which I haven't figured out. I'm just going to show something here, but can I find it? See, I don't think I can. Wait on. She's just seen, because in this movie, see, this governess that's took the job to look after the two kids, because she starts to see them as her children, because she has this fixation and liking of children, and so she wants to get rid of those that are trying to possess the children when she becomes aware of it. But she's kind of, I don't know how to explain it, but she actually can see the dead dark spirits, like they actually are real to her. They make an appearance to her, shall we say, just like you and me, which is unusual. They would normally be invisible to most people. They're not invisible to the children either. Even though they're passed over, the children know they're passed over or they're dead, but they are so lonely and desperate to keep that relationship going. Be a bit like like I mentioned when my father died, be a bit like, it wasn't actually like that, to be honest, but maybe at another unconscious level it might have been and I wasn't aware of it. But normally you would be conscious if you'd lost your mother or your father of great loss. And if you lose your mother or your father at a young age, that is going to be a huge loss. Whereas, like, I lost my father when I was, 50 or something. So that's not young at all. So by that time you are capable of dealing with the loss. Also, it will depend on your relationship too and what your life is. And, but if you lose your relative at a very young age before you've got a life for yourself, it's like these two children See, they're only very young children, but they've lost both parents at a young age, and so they're open for possession, completely open for possession. And because they're and because see, I'm gonna because and because the man and woman that were looking after them were dark spirits. They became dark spirits, even in the now living reality, or the matrix, in the physical world. So when they passed over, wait on, let me see. Oh, I must find that other scene where it shows it. Wait on, this is a good scene. I'll try to find it. Can I find that scene? Early on in the movie it was, where the little girl is saying her prayers and about to go to bed. And wait on, I think I might be able to find it. Maybe I have to go back. I have to go back and find it if I can. How can I find it? I don't know. I should just say it, but the movie's a lot better than me. So, the demigods do it better. The demigods do it better. The actors do it better. I can't find it, I don't think. It's right at the start, I think. What is going on? I can't find it. Oh, it's right back here. Find it. Can't find it. Can't find it. Oh, I just can't find it. Where is it? Just can't find it. Just can't find it. Oh, I just can't find it. It must have been at the start, but it was where, like, when the little girl was saying her prayers. And, where the little girl was saying her prayers, and, oh, maybe I should try and find it. Oh, I should have had this prepared. I wasn't going to. Just can't find it. It should have been at the start of the movie. Why can't I find it? Can't find it. Can't find it. Oh, actually, I have found it now. Sorry about this. And I'm just going to try to show it, if I can, without copyright being a problem. And I hope that this picture is all right. Maybe I picked the wrong one. But she's, the little girl's about to go to bed, and she's say her prayers before she goes to bed. And this might explain it better, this why possession can take place from the dead dark spirits. Here it is. Okay.
Why can't Rupert sleep with me?
Wait on.
Because you might roll over and crush him. Crush him, tortoise? Finish your prayers, dear. If I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. Amen. Miss Giddens, where will the Lord take my soul to?
To heaven.
Are you certain?
Yes, of course, because you're a very, very good girl.
But I might not be. And if I weren't, wouldn't the Lord just leave me here to walk around? Isn't that what happens to some people?
Whatever was that?
Isn't that what just happens to some people, she says. Like, if I haven't been a good girl, see the dead dark spirits, wouldn't the Lord just leave me to wander around? Because she knows that this little girl knows that she's in contact with the deceased two that looked after her, and they're dead dark spirits. And she's like, if I wasn't a good girl, wouldn't the Lord just leave me to wander around aimlessly in the earth matrix? And then, of course, they're looking for possession, you see, because they want to inhabit the bodies of the two children. They need a human, real body to inhabit in order to once again experience the reality or life. Even though they don't experience life the same as what a real live person would, they can still experience the reality. And they can experience the negative emotions, the negative feelings of real life people. And that sustains them. That is why they possess the bodies of, like any person. They latch on to the body. They hang around after they have passed over. They don't pass right over. They're like that. Wait on, I'll say that again. I might just show that scene again, if I can. It's interesting. That's the little girl in the movie. That is the little girl in the movie. That is the little girl in the movie. Rather well played there. The parts are very well played in this movie. Okay, we'll try again.
Where would the Lord take my soul to?
To heaven.
Are you certain?
Yes, of course, because you're a very, very good girl.
But I might not be. And if I weren't, wouldn't the Lord just leave me here to walk around? Isn't that what happens to some people?
Whatever was that?
Don't want to disturb the cat too much with the loud noise. Oh dear. Oh. Oh. Oh.
It's got curtains.
How nice.
Mrs. Rose wants to give you a reading.
I don't know why I keep showing this scene over and over again, but it relates to how possession, it shows you how the dead dark spirits can possess a real life person, I would think. Okay, I'll just try once again, because I don't know if I'm getting this sound and stuff right. And I've got to be careful of the copyright too. But, okay.
Why can't Rupert sleep with me?
Because you might roll over and crush him.
Crush him, tortoise?
Finish your prayers, dear.
If I should wake before If I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. Amen. Miss Giddens, where would the Lord take my soul to?
To heaven.
Are you certain?
Yes, of course, because you're a very, very good girl.
But I might not be. And if I weren't, wouldn't the Lord just leave me here to walk around? Isn't that what happens to some people?
Isn't that what happens to some people? So the dead dark spirits don't leave the matrix. They're allowed to wander the matrix. They're allowed to wander the earth. And they wander looking for real life to possess. The little girl knows that because she entertains, her and the little boy entertain the dead dark spirits of the two previous carers of them that they loved, because that was all they had. But the two dead dark spirits only see the children as a means for possession so that they can partake of the material world. You know, the benefits of the material world. They can live then, they can once again then experience the reality again, you see. But that's at the expense of the two children experience the reality, you know, just normally and naturally, shall we say, I would think. Because that's like, because you will have that merging of the minds then, won't you? It will be like a takeover, like I showed in the previous video with that dream video where the two people are merging together. And they like this merging, this combining of the people, because the artificial dead dark technical spirits need to communicate and combine with real life in order for them to experience and sustain their own life, you see. So this is what happens with the possession. So like I said, when my father passed on, but if you know, you can imagine. But see, if you lost someone you were connected to, the younger this happens, the more likelihood of possession or successful possession by the dead dark spirits. Because like I say, when my father passed over, I was like about 50. You know, might have been a bit younger. I forget what year it was now. Because I'm 65 now, okay, so it could have been a bit earlier than that. It could have been real late 40s, but it was something like that. Yeah. I could find out the year, but it doesn't matter. But I think that I felt not right after he passed on, even though I did not feel overly grieved or like I would have thought about the loss of my parents because it was later in life. But they would have not wanted to leave the reality, because they could not pass over correctly, because they couldn't, because they were dead dark spirits. So they would be confined to the earth matrix, even in death, shall we say. So then they have to look for, as they do in life, a life force to hang around. And if you allow them to be too close or to potentially possess you, you will be then living their life more than your own, because they will possess you, try to possess your mind and your body to where they do what they want you to do, not what you want to do so much. So, and also how they've suppressed you while they were here too. They would like to continue that on. You know, the control and the and living the same way, not ever living how maybe you would really want to live and need to live for your own benefit. That will not happen, and it doesn't happen, and it didn't happen even, you know, in my past, I would say. But possession, if it takes place when you're younger, like in this movie, those children were extremely susceptible to the possession because children don't even have a firm personality at that stage. They're still trying to develop into what they are, you know. And don't forget, we're in a matrix, so you don't know what's really going on anyway. You've only got a small amount of your actual mind, but more of that will be suppressed as you go on. If you are more spiritual, shall we say, unlike most of us, and you have kept possession at bay, you will probably live a more fuller life, or you will live life at least with your own mind or your own ideas in general, I would imagine. You know, as you can see, I'm vague even when I talk about it because it all seems a mystery to me in a way, but I just try to fathom it out. Back onto this I'll just show you an example of possession here too, if I can find the right thing. I've got to be careful of copyright. And I unfortunately should have looked at this movie before I did this video because I wasn't planning on showing this movie, and I had basically put it to rest after I watched it so many times and made the video. But because this possession thing just occurred to me over the last few days, and this movie just tends to, for my way of seeing it, shows it very clearly, the idea in a simple way, which is the only way I can comprehend it. The cat moved when I said that. I can only comprehend things if it's very simple. I can't take to all these complicated movies, and because so that this movie shows possession in a simple way, which is why I like it. But see, the children are not totally possessed, but they're aware of their interaction with the dead dark spirits. And the lady governess that is taking care of them becomes aware of the possession. She sees the man. I might actually try and show that scene. Oh, it's a very good scene where she, for the first time, actually sees the dead dark spirit. Of course, she's already realising that the children are interacting with someone or something else in the place. Like, she even asked the housekeeper at one stage, like, is there anyone else living in this place that you haven't told me about apart from you and the other servants and the two children? Because she thinks she sees the dead dark spirit, but then at some point makes himself totally known. Now, where is that scene where she first sees him? I can't find it. Don't think I can. Or can I? Maybe I can. I'll see how she just saw someone else walking. Yeah, she just saw someone else walking, and she's like, but she immediately dismisses that. She almost thinks, oh, maybe I just imagined it, you know? Which is kind of funny, but you do that, you see, the cognitive dissonance. And even though this is a very religious lady, so that's another thing. That's why she thinks it's imperative that the possession is dismissed from the children, that she has to, show the children the truth, that they are dealing with two people that have passed on and should not be in their reality anymore. But see, their own need has kind of brought them, because if you lose someone that you need and you want when you were young, you don't accept that. You want them to come back. So they almost brought them to them by their own want and need and their unacceptance of their loss. This is shown in this movie, that the two children do not accept the loss, first of the man, and then the lady, because the lady takes her own life because she can't live with the dead dark spirit man that she has fallen in love with. You know. And of course, another point, I'm going to let the movie try to express it here, I think, if you haven't seen the movie. Okay. I'm going to try to... Oh, maybe I won't show that one. Maybe I won't show where she sees the man for the first time, the dead dark man spirit. I might show... Well, maybe I will. I don't want to get up for copyright though, you see. I think it's here. Actually, I think she's going to now see it. Yeah, just here. Yeah, she's going to see it. Now, this is actually the scene. She's hiding behind the curtain, playing hide and seek with the children, and there's the glass window frame behind her. See how she can't believe, she's horrified, but she's actually seeing the dead dark spirit man coming through the window behind her. See? Wonder if one of his eyes is bigger than the other. It should be if there's possession. But essentially, yep, that is what's happened. She's seen it now, so she now knows for sure that that the man is still in existence. And that's when she first... And now she has to know what their story is. She has to know why they are hanging around the children and trying to take them over. And this might be explained here in another scene, which I did take notice of when I watched it many a time about a year or two ago, when I made the year and a half maybe. I forget when I made the video. I've lost track of the time. But I was aware of all this when I watched it. But and also this is the second time she sees the woman dead dark spirit, the little girl, because don't forget the man tends to latch on to the young boy, and the young woman latches on to the young little girl, because that way they inhabit the bodies of their appropriate type, shall we say, and then they can actually interact physically together in the real reality, except that they've got a different body, but they will use the bodies of the children to play in the matrix to their heart's content as they want to, and be together again, because they can't interact really physically unless they have a real physical body. I wouldn't think. When you are... See, they're not able to pass over into any other reality. They're stuck in the earth matrix. But they can't live fully in the earth matrix to their heart's content either, you see. It's like that. They have to find... They're invisible while they're in the earth matrix. So they have to find a physical body to inhabit in order to play and to live as they lived before they passed on, before they died. That's how it is. That's it. The movie shows this very clearly in a simple... and I like the old movies, so this old-fashioned type of movie might be what puts off some people to seeing it. But here we see where she sees the... See, this is a very good scene. See, they're sitting there They're quite well off, as you can see. And they're just sitting there looking at the water, relaxing, and the little girl she's asking her questions about the lady and the song that she hums, because she hums a particular song in order to draw the spirit close to when she wants to interact with it. So see how she's humming the song, and she's like starting to wonder what's going on. She's starting to hum the song. She's bringing her in. She's bringing her in. See, there she is. She's seen her. They're both seeing her. She's seeing her too. She's seeing her. But the child is in denial, like she denies seeing her because she has to keep the secret. She doesn't want this lady, the housekeeper, to know. And she does know now. She's seen it, and she knows that the little girl is engaging with possessed dead spirits, or those that want to possess her. She knows she's interacting with them and denying it and keeping the secret, but allowing possession and encouraging it, because they cannot deal with the loss. Those two children cannot deal with the loss of those two people. They see them as parents, and you can see they're only quite young. So if you lose a relative at a young age, before you're able to handle that loss, because they haven't been with you long enough, you haven't got to where you can find someone to replace them in your own life. And of course, that's how this matrix works with the confusion. That's how it works. It does. We all play in it. I was going to mention my father, and I think that there was attempted possession now when I look back. And because you still have like that choice of, but if your need is great and you don't accept that they're passed on. See, I accepted that my father had passed on. In fact, it was probably only guilt, or if things don't, like if you've had a good relationship with your parents and everything has been okay, you can move on after they pass on. You can live your life. But if there are reasons for guilt or stress regarding your relationship, and even regarding their demise or their passing on, that the cat moved when I said that. Cat moved when I said that. You didn't see it. I saw him in the background there. Then that gives them, there's a door left slightly open to where they will try for possession, because they know that you are not ready to live your own life fully, that you can't move on. I don't think I'm explaining this properly. If only I could explain things properly. So sorry about that. I'm going to show another scene. I hope this is coming out, but I don't know if it is. She's saying how she's actually telling the housekeeper in this scene. Okay, watch this. Wait on this. Actually, I will show this little scene too. because at this stage, after she's seen the lady, dead dark spirit, across the lake, and the girl's seen it too, but the girl denies it. She says, I never saw anything, even though she knows she did, because she has summoned her because she was humming the tune that is like, hey, I'm here, I want to see you. You know, because that was the music box that had this tune when she was alive that she gave her. That was why she hums this song and, you know, brings her into the physical reality where she can see her. But their game and their idea is possession. Let me see if I can show this in this one. Okay, so I've got to wait for the right dialogue, unfortunately. See, she's saying there are two of them. She's telling her there are two of them. She's like, two of what? Today, down by the lake, I saw, in the broad sunlight, I saw the other one, Mrs. Jessel. Mrs. Jessel, that's...
Dead. She died almost a year ago. Almost a year ago. Almost a year. Flora saw her too. Did she tell you so? No, of course not. She lied to me. Well, it amounted to a lie.
Oh, now, miss, I've never known either of the children to tell lies. And why would they?
Why? Because they are both playing, or being made to play, some monstrous game. I can't pretend to understand what its purpose is. I only know that it is happening. Something secretive and whispery and indecent. I tell you, believe me, the children are in dreadful peril.
What are we to do?
Then you do believe me.
Okay. So that's when she's telling the housekeeper because she needs her help, because she's like, we've got to get those two dead dark spirits away from the children, stop them from trying to take them over. See how the two children are like keeping the secret. See how they're both together and they're keeping the secret. She's dreaming about them because she knows that they're in collaboration with the two dead dark spirits. See how she's dreaming about them and the two spirits possessing their body. I better not show any more because it's copyright. I recommend this movie to have a look at. I know I recommended it a few years ago, but I'll show another scene which shows a point about why some linger around on the Earth or the Earth matrix when they should not still be here and should not be attempting possession of real life, but that's the name of the game. I'm going to show this scene if I can. I don't know if it'll come out on the video. It's where she's trying to get the truth out of the housekeeper about what happened and why the woman in particular has not only entertained the dead dark man spirit, because clearly she was a normal person before she got involved with him, so he brought her into his dead dark world and she fell in love and entered into his dead dark world, and then she couldn't live without him. So essentially this is what happened. It's in the movie and it explains why they linger around, or at least why some will linger around. Got to be careful of copyright here.
How did Miss Jessel die? Please, miss, we'll be late. How did she die? In wickedness. She put an end to herself. She was found in the lake, drowned. Oh, I'm sorry, miss. I should never have told you. I'm glad you did.
See how the little girl is still lingering even with the graves of, she's left the flowers, see, of Mary Jessel, that's the lady. See, she's left the flowers, so she now knows. And I'm turning that movie off now, actually. I'm turning it off now, actually. But but it's a good movie. And okay, I don't think I should be putting this video out, but because I waste time doing it, I feel reluctant to do it again and to not put things out even when they're okay, I gotta find some weird noises going outside, won't come out in the mobile where you hear people just, appears as though people are just moving these garbage tins around half the night. Like, it's a bit strange. Oh, there was another scene I should have shown in that Innocence movie, but I just forgot while I had it on there. And that essentially was like, cat moved just there when I said that, when I was about to say it, because I know what you're going to say. I sound as though everything's all right when I flick over to the cat, even though the cat's not eating and I don't know what's going to happen. And I'm talking about all of this, but this is only while I'm making a video because I'm trying to get some sort of idea or point across. But in another scene in The Innocence, the young boy in it clearly shows that he is acting like an adult male towards the governess instead of like, a small child. That's because the dead dark man spirit, I forget his name now, is taking over his body. So therefore the boy is not acting like a young boy and not acting like himself. Is allowing, a takeover. And as time goes on, that boy will not know where he ends or where the dead dark spirit begins. In other words, he will take on the behaviours of the dead dark spirit, take on all the things that the dead dark spirit did while they were supposedly alive in the Matrix or in the Earth. So And don't forget, they were dead dark spirits. Even that the gentleman was a dead dark spirit even when he was living in the Earth Matrix. He was already a dark being. Just for a second there, I wondered what I was saying and completely could not get or comprehend what I was saying, to be honest, because I try to understand what I'm saying while I'm saying it. Because I was just trying to think, well, like, was the gentleman already possessed even before when he was supposedly alive? And then they die and pass over. Like, I think that is because you still have the different kinds of beings, you see. Yeah, so the dead, dark, artificial beings, even though they appear to be real life, natural, normal human beings, shall we say, that possess positive and negative emotions. The dead, dark spirits only possess dead, dark, negative or anti-life emotions and feelings. I don't think I'll put that right. So they're always trying to take over the real life that has the potential for all emotions, all feelings and everything, because they're a real life natural being. I only throw in the word natural because that's just to make it clear, but it's just essentially that they're a different type of being. That that there's one is a spiritual human being that creates reality with their thinking through emotion and feeling. But they can only create a positive reality if their feelings and emotions are positive. That's why the Matrix tries to bring your feelings down to where they're negative, to where you play in the Dead Dark Matrix. That's the name of their game. That's what they do to me every day, and that's what they try to do. And by and large, they're successful. The possession is, can only take place when you are at the low vibration and low frequency. When your mood is low, when you are down, then they have more control over what input you have into your reality. They endeavour to keep it so they have full control over your mind, your emotions, your feelings, and therefore your reality, and therefore they keep the reality that they want, not the one that you would want, not one that's a benefit to me or to you. No, because, we don't really want to live in a dead, dark reality with only dead, dark spirits. They do. That is their domain, that is their heaven. It is our hell. But they want us to be used to their hell. They condition you over a lifetime to get used to living in a kind of hell, I suppose. You almost get to the point to where you think if you're just surviving and just getting by, that is actually really okay. And you actually think that's desirable. You think you're doing okay. They know that you don't know, that because it's only the real life that has the ability to create their reality with their thinking and their feelings. They know that if you don't know that, but even if you know it, like myself, if you don't have control over it, if they have control over you, and your reality and your mind and your feelings and emotions, they know that then they are controlling the reality. And then they can keep the dead dark matrix going. That is our hell and their heaven. And we never get to experience the sort of reality that we should have for ourselves, that we would want. That's their secret, is keeping us in the dark to where we don't know that. You know, we don't know that we're meant to experience a better reality, and that it is possible if we were all not so controlled by the dead dark matrix and its dead dark spirits. How you get away from them, I don't know, because I don't consciously allow them to possess myself. But if I formed an attachment with some of them, like the children with their dead relatives, or what they thought were their relatives, it could well be your relatives, like I say, when they pass over. If you can't accept that they are gone and you have a need for them still, you haven't let go of the need because you're young, you know, you have a need for your relatives and your parents when you're a child, and even into, you know, your teens and things. That's why I say, see, when my father passed on and my mother, I was over 40. So the loss is not great. It's only the guilt and the circumstances in their departing that would have given the potential for possession, or for them to linger around me. Because if I was at a higher frequency and vibration and living my own life, and maybe happily married with my own life, that would not even be possible, because you have accepted and glad to let them go, to pass over. But if there is unresolved business with your relatives, you are not happy to let them pass over. So that is like an open door for them to come in for a form of possession, and sometimes even total possession. And I think I'm folding up. I can't say any more. I don't think I've made sense here. I really don't, unfortunately. Sorry that I didn't realise that I could have showed clips of that movie really that's about possession, called The Innocents. It's still got copies on the YouTube. A very fine movie indeed. Best, in my little humble opinion on movies, but to be honest, it's not really a humble opinion, because I do consider myself to be a movie buff, because I've seen so many movies in my life and I enjoy watching them. I have no problem saying that I think that my taste in movies is pretty reasonable, you know. I think we've had the last... Oh, I do hope that's the last possessed plane. Oh, it's cold and wet out there tonight. I just don't know why. Oh, that's it. I'm so sorry that... I'm so sorry that I can't... So sorry that I can't get the truth across to you properly. That I can't communicate to where things are better for Oh, if he wants to go outside, I might let him go out for a second. It's very cold out there, Putty. Surely you don't want to go out there and die on your own. Probably does. Probably says, hey, you know. Oh, it's a wet, miserable night. It's cold. It's a bit cold for sitting out there tonight, Buddy. It really is, actually. I know it was all right till there's a Matrix car lurking there. Sometimes they stop and just shine their lights all down the thing. Oh, yes, it's pulling in. Of course, we have the Matrix car pulling in at this late time anyway. Can you see it? Is it coming out? There we go. I think it might be coming out a bit. Is it showing you some allegiance there? Just a little, perhaps? Do you want to go out, Putty, or you better stay in? Come on back in. Come on. I'm folding up the video anyway. Come on. Please, come on. Come on. Please come in. Come on. It's cold with that door open. That's right, just lurk there and the minute I said that it turned it all off, but otherwise they lurk. Doesn't even belong there. It's all staged, all fake, all when I say all staged and all fake, it's not fake, it actually happens, but it's not like these are real houses with real people that live there. No. It's not the reality at all. But it's very late now. It's as you can see, it's extremely late, extremely dark. Now, they're still playing with the lights on that car. Did you see that? It didn't come out. See, every time I look, they'll do that, but it'll look as though they're just making a mistake or something. But there's no mistakes. They either that or the control and the possession is so great that they don't know what they're doing. But that is that's me not wanting to accept the control matrix reality. You know, when you say that, I just do that for a video, really, to be honest. You know, there is no doubt at all, really. What are you coming in? Come on, it's cold there. Come on. You better come in. Oh, jeez. It's freezing out here. What is going on out here? Come on, I'm getting wet here. There's rain. Okay. Put. Come on.